Alright, welcome back to my channel. This is part 1 of what if Deku was an assassin. So, how this is gonna work. I'm gonna mix into what ifs that I'm actually gonna do separately, but I'm gonna mix it into this one. That is what if Deku had the Sharingan, wasn't a Uchiha basically, and what if Deku was Ackerman. So how I'm gonna mix this in is like this. Deku's gonna be half Uchiha and half Ackerman. A perfect half and half. Now his parents are full Uchiha and full Ackerman. You know, basically they live in My Hero Academia world, and basically they just have the blood of both of them, Uchiha and Ackerman. So Deku, his parents on this program, basically this program has basically assassins. They train as babies to become assassins from young age. So even not being born, they try to train Deku. How they do this is training his poison resistance. So they get long needles and they stick it inside Deku's mother until it reaches Deku, and they pump poison into Deku's body. But they give him just a little bit of antidote so that he's at a near-death state, but he's still alive. But what this does is activate Deku's Sharingan. So he is the youngest person to ever get the Sharingan, activating it while he's still inside his mother's womb. So over the months, Deku's Sharingan, over the couple of months that he's still inside his mother, weeks, Deku's Sharingan would basically evolve to be the 3 Tomoe, because all the near-death situations that he's in. So he been in so much near-death situations that his Sharingan got to the 3 Tomoe. So when it finally came for Deku's birth, he did not have the Sharingan active. Now, since he is an Uchiha and he still basically has the Sharingan, he gets that Uchiha hatred still. But that's going to be overshadowed in the near future. Now, Inko and Asashi are not Deku's parents. Just random, like I said. So, Deku is now one, and he's trained, he's still being trained, basically like poison resistance, such things that they can't train on the baby. Like they also help his resistance to alcohol, by basically giving him alcohol at such a young age that basically he can tolerate it, and basically get to the point where he is resistant to it. They do that to drugs too, so that basically he gets resistant to drugs and like sleeping medicine. They basically trying to make the perfect assassins. They doing this to multiple other kids, and some kids die and some don't. Deku's parents really don't care about him that much. They really don't. They just want the perfect assassin. And when they're out on a mission one time, they actually do die, both of them. They bit off a little bit more than they can chew. They thought they were basically invincible because they were one of the most skilled assassins there. But in the end, they ended up dying. But the program did not care, so they just kept basically training all these kids. Now, we're gonna get to the age of when Deku's at the age of 6. Deku is one of the best assassins, even though he's only 6. It is shown in the field that Deku is superb, copying the moves of his enemies almost instantly. Now, Deku's Ackerman basically cells did not kick in yet because he basically didn't find that person that he is going to basically kick him in for him. What I mean by that is look at Mikasa, look at Levi, then you can get what I mean by that. I'm sorry if you hear me do that a lot because my nose just stopped up. And I'm feeling a little bit sick today, so that's why I'm like this right now. So Deku at the age of 6 already is given a nickname because of his white hair. Yes, it's not black. Even though his parents both had black hair, he was an anomaly. He was born white hair. White hair and black eyes. They called him the Ghost. Deku knows how to use his Sharingan, but he uses it so well that when it comes time to people to actually try to look in his eyes to see what's happening, he basically turns it off so fast. So, now, with Deku gaining the nickname of Ghost, people all around, basically underworld are, fear him, and people all under the underworld want to hire him to do certain tasks. But here's the thing: they can never look at the Ghost. Well, they can, but they can never try to get any more information out of him or anything like that, or they know that the program will come after them. So, at the age of 8, Deku's his Uchiha hatred for this program is growing. It grew so much that he actually went on a little bit of a rampage, a silent rampage, as you might say. He went out and through the whole building, killing all of the programmers. Yes, that's their name, the programmers. It might be called the program, but it's not anything to do with internet. He killed all the programmers, releasing their children. Now, unlike Deku, who has a strong will, and he's very, very strong-willed, most of the children's wills were broken, with a couple that just died anyway, leaving Deku the only person who was actually strong-willed enough to actually be sane and actually follow commands and stuff like that. The other people are just like robots, as you can say. Deku, seeing that he can't release them out into the public because they're basically broken, they can't do nothing. So he turns them into a little group that he will call, he's going to call them the Invisible Ghost. So he tells the Invisible Ghost that they can stay here because this place is hidden. No one else in the world knows about it. No one. Not Off One, not Dr. Yujiko, I think his name is, not Nezu. No one knows of this location. And that's saying something because a lot of people try to look for it, but they can never find it. That's because it's so secretive, no one knows of it. They just know that the program, if you want to find the program, you will not. The program will find you. So, after doing this, Deku would leave and he'd start wandering the streets of, basically Japan. And he spent about a week out on the streets until he find this woman who would just start talking to him one day. It was raining that day. As the woman said, hello, kid. What are you doing out here by yourself? As Deku would look up, he see this woman that has basically is sunny around only where she is, and he don't know why it is. It's sunny around where only she is, and it looks like she's glowing. And Deku says, basically thinking to himself, "Are you an angel?" As the woman keep talking to Deku, and Deku, the woman asks Deku what his name is. Deku says Izuku. Basically Izuku. Izuku Ackerman Uchiha. That's what he says. As she said, okay, where's your parents? Deku says that they passed on. The woman getting a little bit sad and says, I'm sorry to hear that, kid. The woman says, what about you come with me? As Deku says, okay. Now, this one, Deku's Ackerman cell will begin to slowly activate. Now, Deku will stay with this woman for about 2 years, actually. 2 more years. And during this time, Deku actually got a bond with this woman. He sees her as basically his mom. Now, one day, this woman was being, you can say harassed by another man. This man pushed and go against the wall, started rubbing on her leg, and then said, if you scream, I promise I will kill you, as he pulled out a gun and put it to her head. Deku seen this. He was there. He watched this fully activating his Ackerman cells. After all, he just watched someone what he seen sees as threatening his mother to kill her. He does not want to lose her. One of the only people that he actually saw in a bright light. So what he does is he rushes over there, pulling out a knife from out of his basically sleeve. He rushes in. He jumps up. He stabs the man dead in the throat. Iko sees this. As Deku picks up the gun, he cocks it and then shoots the man twice. Where did he shoot the man? Well, in his eyes, taking out both his eyes, but also destroying his brain. Iko seeing this, she does throw up, because that is her first time actually seeing someone die. And yes, I do know that I released it. This is Inko. As Deku said that he has done such a thing in front of the only person he loves, he basically leaves. But before he leaves, he tells Inko that they shall keep in touch, that he shall meet with his mother almost every day. And Inko starts to cry because that's the first time Deku actually called her mother right in front of her. As Deku left a recording also with her. As Inko got home, well, first she was questioned by the police, what happened. She explains that, basically the man was harassing her, then someone came, stabbed the man in the throat, shot him with a gun, and then ran off. Now, they did not find Deku's fingerprints on the weapons. The reason that is because Deku knows that he needs to be silent and never leave a trace. So what he did was, Deku put on invisible gloves. Well, basically, it's gloves that match the skin tone, basically. It looks invisible. So Deku's Uchiha hatred is now gone. It's overshadowed by his Ackerman love. Wanting to protect, basically, his queen, his mother. Or the one he sees as his mother. So Deku's always around Inko. He's always watching her. So if anything bad happens, he just stops it immediately. And people in the underworld do kind of act like they, high and mighty, and start acting up again because they see that the organization, basically the program, is no longer, around. So assassinations slow down a little bit. But other assassins do try their up-and-coming stuff like that. Other assassins try it. But most of them are not as good as what they call the ghost. Now, Deku still has the silent ghost, in which they are very elite. If Deku's silent ghost went against modern-day military forces, like our time military forces, they will destroy every single last military force on this earth. Because they have quirks. That's the difference. They have quirks, and their bodies are literally trained to be natural killers from, barely even being born. Before that. So, now Deku is the age of 14, and Iko told the story about basically her adopted son to Bakugo, Mitsuki Masaru, basically saying that she adopted a little boy by the name of Izuku Ackerman Uchiha. As basically Mitsuki's eyes widened, but Masaru and Bako did not know anything about this. Then Mitsuki said to Inko that you basically adopted the son of two of the most famous assassins in the world. As Inko says, what do you mean? As Mitsuki goes on to tell her, the Uchiha that you talk about in Ackerman, they were a couple. A very powerful couple. Them being very skilled in what they do. They were so skilled that they nearly killed All Might before. They went against a lot of pro heroes and came out of that battle unscathed. But then, a couple of years ago, they actually died due to something like an explosion that happened. Their bodies were preserved, but they had already died. And Mitsuki asks Inko to basically describe what she saw. The boy. As Inko never showed Izuku to Mitsuki because Deku don't really like people like that. So Inko describes Deku like white hair, black eyes, but sometimes they go red. Very muscular build and other things like that. Like sometimes he just disappears even though she's looking directly at him. As Mitsuki says that you were in the presence of what people would call the ghost. As Inko says, the ghost, who is he? As Mitsuki says, did Izuku give you something before he left? As Inko says, no, thinks about it. She does get a little bit sad, but she thinks about it and says, yeah, he gave me this. No, basically, she pulls out a flash drive and Mitsuki takes it from her, and she goes to a computer. Everyone follows her, and she plugs it in, and then a recording comes up. They see this facility, basically, and then they see Deku come in, sit down, and he says, hello. For whoever's reading this, listening to this, it means one of two things. I trust you enough to give out this information, or I have died. But I don't think the second thing is possible, so let me just get into this story. My name is Izuku. Izuku what, you may be asking? Well, Izuku Ackerman Uchiha, the son of blank Uchiha and blank Ackerman. Their names are not, basically, doesn't even matter. Their names don't matter, so I'm not going to name them. Now, if you can see this facility behind me, where I'm sitting at, where I'm recording this from, this place was what people called the program. This place was where most of the top assassins were born. This place is where I was born. Now, they train assassins before they are even born, inside the wombs of their mother, in fact. Now, this is basically this is 8-year-old Deku saying this. So they're wondering that they are surprised that Deku is this smart. Deku then continues to say, this before he met Inko too. He continues to say, basically, they would train us by injecting us with poison that would slowly but surely kill us, but just enough antidote that would keep us alive. Wow. Now, since I am the son of Uchiha, I gained his power, his quirk, as he shows through the Sharingan. It's fully evolved. Everyone is wondering what they mean by this, as Deku starts to explain. These are what you call the Sharingan, given to me by the Uchiha. Not calling him father or mother. He says that these evolve slowly over time, from 1 Tomoe to 2 Tomoe to 3 Tomoe. Now, my father, he unlocked the Sharingan at the age of 7. At the age of 10. And he evolved it from then, while I unlocked it when I was still inside my mother's womb. Being the youngest Uchiha to ever unlock the Sharingan. As he goes on to explain the Uchiha history, and it goes like in Naruto history, like explaining all the Uchiha and stuff like that. Then Deku says, I have yet to activate my Ackerman cells, as you could say. I need that special person in my life, that shining light. I need that in my life to activate it. And he explains that the Ackerman cells will overwrite my Uchiha hatred. it would also make me stronger. But I have yet to meet the person that can actually activate them. Because every time I see someone, it's like I'm looking at a blank mirror. When I finally do meet that person, it's supposed to be described as meeting your sunlight. Looking at a sun or an angel, a person that is surrounded by light when everything else is in a rainy, drowsy day. But I have yet to experience this, so I will not know. As Inko thinks about it, she thinks back when she first met Deku. It was raining, but some reason it was not raining around her. And she had an umbrella up just in case it does rain where she was. And she basically, while looking at Deku that time, she saw all the light that was around her. And she thinks that I was his special person that sparked his Ackerman blood. Now Deku continues to say, for whoever does spark my Ackerman cells, it will make me basically to a point where I love you. Well, depending on who it is. If it is someone my age, I would love them as a lover. Someone younger than me, I would love them as a sibling would. Older sibling would. Someone older than me, I would love you as if you were a parent to me. Which I have not felt the embrace of family or anything like this, so I do not know what it really feels like. Deku then says, enough about me. I'm just going to let you know on a couple of information. I am still alive. Another thing, the organization, the program, it is no more. I destroyed it by myself. He then stands up and he moves the camera to show all of the silent ghost. He says, this is the new organization that I'm coming up with. These are people that can never return to the normal world. And now, I'm not keeping them as slaves. I'm not keeping them as property. But their minds are broken. I can never return them, sadly. But they shall work for me. And they have free will. If they ever gain consciousness, they can leave whenever they want. But sadly, I don't think that will ever be possible. As he says, they will do whatever I tell them. But for now, I want them to survive. Go into hiding. Well, this place is basically, you can never find this place anyway, so I shouldn't even say anything. As it is impossible to find it. Well, know why? Why do you think I say wait for so long to tell you guys why it's not impossible? Well, just wait a little bit more. So, Deku tells a little bit more information that he says, alright, I think it's finally time to tell you why this place is so hard to find. As he goes outside, they can see him leave the building, and then he flips the camera around, and they just see red. They see red, and they see just like storms and things like that. And they wondering what they're seeing. Deku says, if you're wondering what you're seeing, this is currently inside of Jupiter. Yes, we are currently inside the gas giant Jupiter. How we are here is from one person's quirk, a teleportation quirk that you made. And then another person's quirk, a creation quirk, where she created this whole building, this whole land, this whole, basically, island. With endless food, endless water, and endless possibility. Well, not possibility, I'm just gonna say endless food, endless water, and stuff like that. But there's a way to get here and get there. But their way is unable to be found by anyone that is not from the program or organization. Meaning that even if you basically follow deku there, you will not be able to go there. Alright. Basically this one the tape just stopped and Misi says she's gonna turn this into the police. Inko says okay because there is evidence, so she cannot keep it. But she is happy to hear all about Deku's story, but she is a little bit sad too. Way sad to hear how sad his story is. Bako is also surprised, and so is Masaru. But Mitsuki turns in the evidence and stuff like that to the police station. They hear all of this. They give it up to the heroes, higher ups, and stuff like that. And they basically play it too. They hear all the information and things like that. Now, they will try to actually, they know that right now, even though they're so advanced, and David Shield is currently basically working on all these wonderful items, they can never get to Jupiter because it's so far away. And even if they do get to Jupiter, they can never get inside of it because all of the storms on the surface. So they just said they would never be able to find the program. So basically, now this one I'm going to end this off. Thanks for watching. If you're hearing my voice, I'm a little bit tired, and plus I'm sick. So thank you for watching. See you guys next one. Peace out. No. See you guys. Okay. See you guys next time. Alright, bye.